Okay, joining me this morning is Okaloosa County Commissioner Carolyn Ketchel for District 2. Commissioner, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks so much for asking, and thanks for having me as your guest today.
Absolutely. So yesterday, some photos went online that City Councilman Parker Destin shared of picking up trash along Okaloosa Island, and he just had an enormous amount that was collected from the previous day. And I wanted to just get your take on just the ongoing trash issue that we seem to have with parking and the visitors coming down here, and just the trash that ends up piling up in our bushes, along the roads and in the dunes. So I just kind of wanted to start there and kind of get your take on it.
Well, thank you so much for asking, and I want to give a shout out to the councilman for being proactive and being a good conservationist and getting out there and picking it up, and I hope he does the same thing in Destin. So this is an interesting combination of things that I'm going to discuss with it. First of all, I think every commissioner and probably most of the council people feel the same way I do, and that is that we live in this beautiful area. We want to keep it beautiful. People come here for the white sugary beaches. They don't come here to look at the trash. It makes all of us sad when a weekend passes and there's been a lot of parking out there on 98, and people get into their vans or their vehicles to leave, their Jeeps, whatever, and they empty out their coolers on our property. We don't like it. The problem is complicated. The answer to this trash, though, is complicated. First of all, this is not county property. Yes, it is my district, halfway to the Marler Bridge, but the actual property is owned by Eglin Air Force Base. So, but it is not, it is partly their responsibility, of course, to deal with the trash. And believe me when I say they're not happy about the trash, which is why one side of the bridge, partly why one side of the bridge was closed off, because there was so much trash there. And it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see barriers go up on the other side, because there is so much trash being dumped. The contract, 98 is a state roadway. It's under the Cisco system. So we have a contract, we being the county of Okaloosa, with FDOT to pick up the trash. Once a month, they bring out contractors to pick up the trash. We do not have near enough personnel to be able to do that. This happens in the summer months. You'll see when they come out, everything's spotless. And then we have visitors, and we wish they would leave no trace. Perhaps Eglin Air Force Base would want to put up signs that say leave no trace. But I think they're looking at more draconian measures, perhaps, more barriers. So, and that would be a discussion to have with them.
Has there been any, recent discussion with Eglin? I know we've got the barriers for the parking, but has there been any sort of recent discussions with them as to how maybe together we can partner, what they're looking for as far as, reducing the trash? Can we do more bins? Is there, do we need to go as far as putting, potential dumpsters out there to help reduce that? I know we don't want to see dumpsters out there, but we also don't want to see the trash just spread across the island.
That's exactly right. And we are concerned that there is, that we do have a possibility of that. But again, we wouldn't be making the decision. That's a federal decision to put dumpsters out there or not to put dumpsters out, or to find another way to prevent parking. So that may be where it goes. It's unfortunate that, and I don't think it's just visitors. I think locals as well. I think everybody needs to be very aware of leaving no trace. That's what I taught my children. That's what we practice as a family. And I think a lot of people practice that locally. I really, truly believe a lot of people live in this area and they practice leaving no trace.
Yeah, I agree. We have young kids, and it's incredibly important that what we take, we take back with us, and we make sure that we use the bins and the dumpsters that are there on the island and at our beach accesses. The
thing about this is that it's a state partnership and a federal partnership, and it's county as well. So I really was pleased to see somebody stop and pick up trash. The other thing that's very interesting is that this highway has been adopted by one of the local groups. I wanted to give you that today. I can't tell you, but it's an airman group, I believe, that has adopted it. So we do have military personnel that goes out, and they also try to help. So it's just an ongoing issue through the summer, and none of us like to see it. The one thing I will shout out about our area is that if you drive around, you don't see a lot of trash anywhere. the cities, the municipalities, the county, the state, all do a good job trying to keep up with trash. I mean, if you look even under we've had complaints at times that around the bridges where the fishermen are, that we get trash. Immediately it's picked up as soon as that happens. So we do the best we can trying to keep our area neat and clean and beautiful. And I think we do a good job.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely agree being a native here. Is there, I know you mentioned that the trash is picked up kind of once a month. Is there any way, and I know the county doesn't necessarily have the resources to make it happen, but is there an opportunity or a way to maybe get more pickups more frequently, or is it just kind of out of your hands at this point?
No, I think that's something we could look into. Of course, it all comes down to dollars. And right now we're all being affected ironically, by COVID, and we've had, shutdowns, and we're putting together the budget right now. We're actually working on the budget for next year and trying to spread dollars as thin as mayonnaise to make it work. So it all comes down to money. When you have more money, you can hire more people, you can have better contracts and so forth. But right now, this is what we have. And I did reach out to Eglin Air Force Base in preparation for this interview and have this discussion with them as well. So they're very cognizant of it.
Now, aside from signs being put out there that encourages people to take their trash with them, how can we better educate our visitors prior to them coming down here, or once they're here and they check into a vacation rental or a hotel? How can we better educate them on the importance of, hey, when you come down here, please take it with you, because we're trying to keep our area clean, not only for you but for our wildlife and things around us.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought in about the wildlife, because we do have sea turtles and we don't want them digesting plastics. And, there's so many ways that we can make a difference. And I know I'm totally into recycling and cleaning up the environment. I cut my plastic, anything I use like that, and try to recycle all my glass products. So I do believe, I'm pretty sure that our Tourist Development Council has developed a brochure that goes into the welcome packet that's at the visitor center, as well as handed out to all the local vendors. But I think what happens is, you're tired at the end of the day, you might have been drinking, I'm not saying, and just, you dump your stuff and you leave. And that's unfortunate. I hope it's none of our local people, but thank you for doing this, because this is the way that we get our information out to let people know, think twice before you do this. There's a lot of beautiful wildlife, bird life, sea turtles. We have all sorts of bear, raccoon, bobcats. We don't want any of them getting tangled up in fishing lines and any kinds of cans or bags that are left behind. And this is the way to do it. And I thank you so much. That's one of my favorite things to talk about, actually, is wildlife and the environment. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and thank you for reaching out to Eglin, and I hope that you can keep us updated on the discussions that you do have with them and where it might lead us.
If I could just say one more thing. We're
Absolutely.
in the next 6 months, we're looking at putting a 12-foot wide bike path right there. So that's going to make a big difference. Eglin has to improve an environmental study right now. They're looking at to see whether some things would be encroached upon, but if not, it's going to be a multimodal use. When the bridge comes over, the new Fort Walton Beach Bridge right there, we will be able, the Brooks Bridge, that'll have a 12-foot path as well. It's going to come all the way across and go all the way to Marlar. So it's a bridge to bridge. Your tourism development dollars are going to pay for that. And so at that point, when we have joggers, walkers, and bikers out there, I bet we see a lot of people out there picking up trash.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully, Commissioner, you'll come back on and keep us updated on the progress of that.
It would be my honor and privilege. I love to talk to people this way. Thank you so very much for having me today.